Hey, everybody. It is Monday night. It is 6 p.m. We're back to our regular time. This is No Bones About Wrestling, and this is AEW Weekly. I'm one of your hosts, Asa, and beside me here is my permanent co-host, Kay Fabulous.
Hey.
And so AEW Weekly. We are going to recap. We're going to have a shorter show than usual for you tonight. Because there was no AEW Collision this week, so we don't have as much to talk about as usual. But we did have AEW Dynamite, so we're going to recap AEW Dynamite for you. We're going to have a closer look at an individual in AEW. We're going to, of course, look at some storylines. We're going to have our top 5 rankings. We're going to have fashion do's and don'ts with Kay Fabulous. So we're going to have the regular things, but just like I said, we're going to have just a shorter show than usual because there wasn't an episode of Collision this week, so just not as much to talk about as usual. Of course, there is the Revolution pay-per-view coming up, and we'll have our Revolution preview show. That'll be next Monday, so make sure you check us out next Monday. We're going to do a Revolution preview show and Revolution predictions and all that sort of thing. What have we got? 5 matches, 6 matches so far? Something like that. Something like that. So let's get right to it with the recap first of AEW Dynamite from Valentine's Day in Austin, Texas. Started off with a pretty cool match, pretty interesting match to start off with. Jon Moxley and Dax Harwood. Moxley bit Dax's head. Dax suplexed Moxley, both men spilling outside. We saw a superplex by Dax on Moxley. Mox hit a diamond cutter, stomp, pile driver combo, got a 2 count only. Dax went for a swan dive headbutt, but Moxley caught him, got him in a chokehold, and Dax tapped out. Moxley got the big win over Dax Harwood. Great match to start off Dynamite, 4.5 bones. After the match, Cash Wheeler ran in, then Claudio Castagnoli, and Claudio put him down. Mox choked out Dax some more, and then the BCC left. So I don't know if we're going to have a feud between the BCC and FTR. That would be awesome. That would be great.
Aren't we going to... Is it not an official match at Revolution for FTR and BCC?
No.
Oh, I just assumed it was heading in that direction. So all right.
I mean, maybe we're heading in that direction. You know, a lot of people thought Moxley was going to face Ospreay, but now that's off. That's not... Apparently never was happening. Well, maybe it was at some point, but it's not happening now, that's for sure. So we'll see what the BCC have going. A match against FTR, that'd be fucking great. I assume FTR have a match in their native North Carolina here. You know, they're from Asheville, which is about 3 hours from Greensboro, where Revolution will take place.
I think Cash is from Hendersonville.
Is that right?
I think so. I know Dax is from Asheville, but I think Cash is from Hendersonville.
Hendersonville. I don't know where that is.
It is in western North Carolina.
Okay. After that match, Renee was with Don Callis, Konosuke Takeshita, and Powerhouse Hobbs. And that is when Don Callis booked 2 members of the Callis family to face each other at AEW Revolution. And that is Will Ospreay and Konosuke Takeshita. And that'll be, I think it's going to be the match of the night at AEW Revolution, as Mind Runner shouts out, North Carolina, which is actually where we're from. If you watched the show before, you know that. And you probably know as well, we will be at Revolution. It's about half an hour from our house. Greensboro is. So we'll be at that show. Can't wait. Looks like it's shaping up to be a pretty damn good show. And to me, it's looking like this match that just got booked here, Will Ospreay and Konosuke Takeshita, that looks to be the match of the night so far, heading in, don't you think, Kay?
Yeah, and you keep adding so far, but like, what could they possibly book that's going to be better than that?
Well, you never know. You never know. Yeah, I mean, you're right. There's nothing that's gonna.
Yeah.
There's probably nothing that's gonna beat it. The only thing I could see competing for match of the night, the only thing I could see competing with Ospreay and Takeshita, possibly the international title match with Cassidy and Strong, possibly. I mean, those guys can both go.
I thought you were going to say the three-way.
And possibly the three-way, the world title match. Those are the only two matches I could see coming close to the Takeshita and Ospreay match. But anyways, we have it booked, and Ospreay is officially appearing at Revolution, and I can't fucking wait. I've never seen him wrestle live. Very excited. Up next, we had Wardlow versus Barrett Brown. Wardlow powerbombed him for the squash win. Adam Cole was at ringside to do commentary, but it seemed as though his headset didn't work. The Young Bucks, in their blood-stained white suits, land in their private plane and get into an SUV limo to take them to the Coliseum. And then we have Adam Copeland versus Daniel Garcia with Daddy Magic on commentary. And this is supposed to determine who is facing Christian Cage for the TNT title at Revolution. Garcia works over Copeland's left leg for a good amount of the match. Copeland superplexes Garcia. Copeland grabs Garcia in a front facelock submission hold. And then Nick Wayne and Killswitch attack both men. It's ruled a no contest. It's a pretty good match they had going. Gave it 4 bones out of 5. And Christian comes in. He grabs a steel chair. Daddy Magic gets up from the commentary table. He grabs a steel chair as well. They kind of face off. Killswitch attacks Daddy Magic from behind. And then Copeland and Cage duel with chairs. They literally hit steel chairs together, and Cage drops his. Copeland has him cornered, and then Mother Wayne sneaks up from behind Copeland and hits him with a low blow. Nick Wayne hits him with a Wayne's World, which is a diamond cutter, after Wayne jumps off the top rope. Christian hits Copeland with a concerto. And then the patriarchy poses while Christian puts his boot on Copeland's back. The patriarchy then leave as Daniel Garcia comes to, re-enters the ring, and checks on Copeland. So the TNT title picture, we don't know who will face Christian Cage at the pay-per-view. May see another triple threat for the title. That's, we kind of were discussing that last week a bit. My suggestion was, I said have Daniel Garcia get the shot against Christian Cage, have Adam Copeland do a Cope Open challenge, and have Okada show up and answer the challenge, and do Okada versus Copeland, and do Garcia versus Christian Cage for the TNT title. And I think that would be awesome. That works for all 4 of those guys. I think that would be a great answer. So maybe they'll do that. I don't know. But this match didn't settle anything as far as the TNT title or who's going to face Christian at the pay-per-view. Then we have a recap of the number 1 contender match from last week between Hangman Page and Swerve Strickland. And then AEW World Champion Samoa Joe comes out, and he complains about having to face both Swerve and Hangman. And then Swerve comes out. And Swerve talks about how he wants to be recognized as one of the best in the world. And he says he's walking out of Revolution with the belt. And then Hangman Page comes out and tells Swerve he doesn't deserve to be in the triple threat match. He says it should just be Joe versus Hangman. And Joe then tells them both he's going to whip both of their asses at Revolution. And that's the end of the segment. We then have a new Tony Storm short film entitled Wet Ink. And we see Tony get a tattoo of a dagger around the duck tattoo that she shares with Deonna Purrazzo. After this, Purrazzo is with Renee, and she says, "I'm going to break your arm, bitch." It's a short and sweet reply from Deonna Purrazzo.
Doesn't that seem like an extreme reaction to someone getting a tattoo?
Yeah. She might have some anger issues, yeah. Then the Young Bucks arrive in their SUV limo, clad in their bloodstained suits. And then we see the Young Bucks versus Top Flight, accompanied by Action Andretti. Top Flight on the outside quickly jump inside the ring, then back out onto the Young Bucks. Darius Irish whips Matthew, then hits him with a Spanish fly. We see the EVP trigger, newly renamed. The Bucks hit that on Darius Martin. Nicholas gets the pin and the win. This was a very good match. 4 bones out of 5, and the Young Bucks defeat Top Flight. After the match, the Young Bucks name themselves #1 contenders to the AEW World Tag Team titles. They then fine Tony Schiavone $1,000, and they're about to hit him with the EVP trigger when Darby Allin runs out with a baseball bat. And the Young Bucks and Darby have a back and forth, which leads to the World Tag Team title match getting officially booked for Revolution. And I have a bit to say about Darby's promo that he cut. I have something to say about that later on. But so it's official for Revolution. Sting and Darby are defending the World Tag Team titles against the Young Bucks in a tornado tag match. Renee is with the Bang Bang Scissor Gang, who say they're going to be in a 12-man tag team match on Rampage. 6-on-6, that is. And next, it's Willow Nightingale with Stokely Hathaway taking on Sky Blue, accompanied by Julia Hart. Sky powerbombs Willow. Sky hits Code Blue. Stokely Hathaway distracts the referee long enough for Willow to hit the Babe with the powerbomb for the pin and the win. And this was a pretty good match. 4 bones out of 5. Another 4-bone match. This was a pretty good episode of Dynamite. And Willow Nightingale got the win over Sky Blue. And the main event, AEW International Title Texas Death Match, with Orange Cassidy defending against one half of the Ring of Honor World Tag Team Champions, Matt Taven of the Undisputed Kingdom. Taven jumps off the stage with an elbow drop onto Cassidy on a table. The table does not break. Looked painful. All the impact right onto Cassidy's ribs. Cassidy blades. Very obvious blade job, and he is bleeding profusely.
It's not just an obvious blade job, it's a blade job in a spot that makes no sense with what just happened.
Right. He got elbowed on the ribs, and now his forehead's bleeding.
Head is bleeding.
Yeah, it was dumb. It didn't make sense.
No.
I like blood, but make it make sense.
You had to bleed from somewhere you actually got hit.
Right. Taven suplexes Cassidy through the table. Taven sets a table up against the announcer's table. Taven tries to dive at Cassidy, but Cassidy moves, and Taven goes headfirst through the table. It's a pretty wild spot. Mm-hmm. And then Taven blades, and he's bleeding well. Both men bleeding. Cassidy finds a Valentine's box that says, "From Chucky T." He gets in the ring, opens it, and it's full of thumbtacks, which he empties onto the mat. Cassidy tries to superplex Taven, who throws him off the ropes onto the thumbtacks. Taven then goes for a splash onto Orange. Cassidy moves, and Taven lands right in the thumbtacks. Orange Cassidy DDTs Taven in the thumbtacks, and then Mike Bennett, his tag team partner, shows up and fills the ring with steel chairs. Now here comes Trent Beretta of the Best Friends. Taven throws a chair right at Trent's head. Pretty sick spot. Cassidy hits an orange punch and beach break. Cassidy hits another orange punch with a steel chain wrapped around his fist. And then Roderick Strong runs in. He hits a running high knee on Trent, but Strong gets thrown out of the ring by Cassidy. And while that was going on, the referee had been counting. This was a Texas death match. He had been counting Matt Taven down. The referee finishes counting to 10. Orange Cassidy wins the match by knockout, keeps the international title. This was an excellent match. 4.5 bones out of 5. This was the match of the night on Dynamite, and therefore there was no collision this week. This was the AEW match of the week. Orange Cassidy with the win over Matt Taven in a Texas death match. And so right now, we are going to take a closer look at Orange Cassidy.
Before we do that, can I just say, I didn't realize how much I loved Collision and needed Collision till Collision wasn't there.
Yeah, I think
I was like, we have to wait a whole week to get any more story progression.
Yeah, I think a lot of people felt that this week, that they didn't know. Yeah, you know, they say you don't know what you got till it's gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I really missed those, like, story updates, you know, and, like, what matches are going to be on Dynamite coming up, you know?
Mm-hmm. No, I think a lot of people missed Collision. I definitely did. Yeah.
Took it for granted, you know?
Mm-hmm. And for the NBA All-Star weekend stuff, which we still haven't watched. We got to watch that.
Oh, yeah.
But now we're going to take a closer look at Orange Cassidy. He just coming off this big Texas deathmatch win over Matt Taven, which they announced it, and I thought, I don't know, it seemed kind of random facing Matt Taven, who I have respect for, but this match upped my respect for Taven a lot. I'll tell you that.
Well, it's not random. The two factions are feuding.
Right. It just seemed random that it was a Texas death match. You know, I think you don't go with gimmick matches until a feud has been going between two guys. You know, you don't start, but that's what Tony Khan does that a lot. He starts with a gimmick match, which, I mean, it's his company, and he'll do what he wants.
When in Texas, do a Texas death match.
Yeah, well, I mean, hey, it fucking worked, so
yeah.
Fine by me.
It made this feud that was like piddling along seem way more important than it had been.
I agree. So, good. I mean, good, yeah. Because, as we've been discussing, this feud between the Best Friends and the Undisputed Kingdom, as you said, had been just kind of piddling along, and there hadn't been a lot of physical confrontation at all between these guys. You know, there's been some stare downs and this and that, and
all they did was attack Chuck Taylor the week before, and
right.
That was it.
Yeah, and we haven't seen an answer really from the Best Friends.
Yeah.
Even still, haven't seen an answer from them. But so that's just, I guess that's to ask now, taking this closer look at Orange Cassidy, who's a couple months into his second international title reign, and he has pretty much defined this belt. Mm-hmm. He's defined what the international belt means, you know, the kind of work that you have to put in to deserve it. And that I'll answer in a minute, Mind Runner. But yeah, Cassidy has really defined this international title belt, and that's to ask. So what now? What next in this feud? What do the Best Friends? What should they do to revenge Chuck Taylor?
Well, I kind of took the Valentine full of thumbtacks and Orange Cassidy winning as them revenging Chuck Taylor. So I feel like instead of it being a move like in the Best Friends court, that it needs to be another Undisputed Kingdom attack. Oh,
you think that was enough? That was the revenge?
For faces, yeah.
For faces, I get what you're saying. They can't sneak up and
someone.
They can't. I get you. Yeah, I get you. You're right. That was their revenge. Yep. So now it is on Undisputed Kingdom. Yeah. To revenge them again.
Danhausen. They need to go after Danhausen.
I agree.
Because he is beloved, and that will piss people off.
I agree, but Danhausen hasn't been on television since when? I don't know what the deal is. And even
has he been on Rampage though?
No. He hasn't been on television. Hasn't been on AEW in a while.
Mm-hmm.
As Mind Runner points out, that's another thing I'll talk about is Orange Cassidy was at Rev Pro this past weekend, and let me find my notes here.
Are you jumping to the news?
Yeah, Cassidy this weekend, he made an unadvertised appearance in London at Rev Pro High Stakes. And he was the mystery entrant in a six-way scramble match, which turned it into a seven-way match. And he showed up and put his international title on the line, which this is kind of the way I envisioned the international title in the beginning. I thought the AEW guy would travel, I thought the title holder would travel to other nations and other companies and defend it.
Mm-hmm.
And that would make it international. And we hadn't seen a lot of that. We've seen a little of it, but not enough to call it an international title in my eyes. But I'm glad we saw that this weekend. And Cassidy put his international title on the line, and I don't know if I just said that. He successfully defended it. He kept it. Mind Runner now asking, is there anything with Trent turning on Orange Cassidy? So there have been rumors of a Trent Beretta heel turn, and I've seen that out there. I saw it kind of in some things that Trent was doing a month or two ago. I kind of saw the heel turn coming, but now with this feud that the Best Friends have going with the Undisputed Kingdom, I don't see a heel turn coming, just for numbers' sake.
See, I could see it more now.
Oh, really?
I could see him turning and joining the Undisputed Kingdom.
You think that would be like the ultimate betrayal? Hey, that might be a way to ramp the feud up. Might be a way to end the feud to have Trent Beretta betray Orange Cassidy and join up with the Undisputed Kingdom. But yeah, as far as actually hearing something, is it going to happen or not? I haven't heard anything on whether it's going to happen or not, and whether I think it'll happen or not. I don't know. Kay just kind of made me think it might now, but personally, I don't see it happening. Chuck Taylor is just about to return. I don't see the Best Friends breaking up right now. Personally, I don't see Chuck Taylor returning to the ring just for Trent Beretta and him to break up as a tag team.
I think Trent's career would be better solo.
And as Mind Runner points out, when Cassidy said he was giving a shot to Ishii, Trent was upset. That's true. Yeah, definitely.
There was also a match a few weeks ago where Trent, I can't remember if he lost or if he won, but Orange Cassidy and Chuck Taylor were there, and Orange Cassidy went to shake his hand, and he was very hesitant, and I thought maybe this is going to be where he heel turns, but it wasn't. Do you remember that?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like they've been dropping little clues,
and they were, and like I said, I feel like they've backed off it a little bit because I thought it felt like Trent was going to turn heel, and like I said, I feel like they backed off it, and I just feel like he's not now, for whatever reason. And then again, to add on, I just say with Chuck Taylor just about to return to the ring, I just don't see it happening right now.
I don't think Chuck Taylor can have a solo career.
He could.
Not a good one.
Not a good one. Not a great one. No.
Yeah.
No, but he could have one. He's a serviceable wrestler. And then as Mind Runner says, what if Trent joins Undisputed Kingdom? Yeah, I could see it. That would be an interesting way for this story to go, for sure. It would be an interesting move for Tony Khan to make. Yeah.
So do you, because we're talking about Orange Cassidy, I guess this is kind of getting into the where is it going, but do you see him dropping the belts at Revolution?
Definitely.
Yeah, me too.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. If they don't have Roderick Strong win that belt from Cassidy, they're fucking up.
Yeah.
Because the the Undisputed Kingdom has to get some more momentum going here. Mm-hmm. They're supposed to be this intimidating heel faction, and the Kingdom have the Ring of Honor tag titles, and besides that, they don't have a lot of momentum going. I mean, we got Wardlow coming out every week beating up jobbers, and that's about it. And now Roderick Strong, I think, is going to get this belt, and now we'll get it going a little more. Mm-hmm. And mentioning Wardlow, let me take a break from Orange Cassidy just for a minute to answer this question. Mind Runner asked, do you think Wardlow is really with the Undisputed Kingdom, or is he playing along until he gets a title?
I think he's playing along until he gets a title.
Yeah.
I think he's going to stay with them until Adam Cole's better and expects him to hand over that title.
Yeah, and then
that's not happening.
And they splits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although I don't know when Wardlow gets the title, because I really want Swerve to get it. You know?
Yeah, I hear you. Well, a lot of people are thinking Joe keeps it, and Joe's next opponent might be Wardlow. Some people are saying maybe Swerve wins it, and Swerve maybe drops it to Wardlow in a couple months. That's what people are thinking.
I just feel like Wardlow's not ready.
I don't know. He could be world champion in a fucking second. Yeah, no doubt. But they need to exactly. That's exactly what I was about to say. He needs to have matches against people that aren't jobbers. They need to show his skills against other skilled wrestlers. We need to see him being strong and intimidating against other guys that are strong and intimidating. Not fucking, what's his name, Barrett Brown and fucking Johnny Jokester and whoever the fuck else they got. Mm-hmm. But yeah, do I think Wardlow is really with them, or is he playing along until he gets a title? I think Wardlow's whole thing is he's against MJF. So I think if he gets the title, we might see him hand it over to Adam Cole. Maybe.
No way.
Maybe.
No way.
Maybe. But
we already saw that storyline with Luchasaurus and Christian. They don't need to repeat that. We just saw it last year.
Yeah, I hear you. True. Yeah, you don't want to do too much of that, and then you really devalue the belts. And especially with the world title, you really don't want to do too much of that at all, I don't think. So I'm not saying I hope they do it. I hope they don't do that, but I could see them doing it. Mm. I mean, I hope they don't do that at all. I don't like the idea of that at all, but I could see them doing it. I hope Tony Khan values the belt more than that. Like I'm saying, I don't want people handing it over. I don't like that kind of stuff, that kind of screwiness. That's what WCW in their later days, that's the kind of shit that got them into trouble, pulling that kind of shit. People handing the belt over or intentionally losing matches, that kind of bullshit. And it really devalued the world title and made it mean less, and eventually made it meaningless, really. Eventually. The one behind me here eventually made it just a piece of gold, really.
The big gold belt?
The big gold belt, yeah. It really was, by the end of WCW, was really devalued. It was very sad. They in the Vince Russo days, especially, they just so many hotshot title changes. Mm-hmm. You'd have fucking 2 title changes in a week. You could watch the show and skip the show for 2 weeks and not know who the damn world champion was anymore. And yeah. So AEW needs to stay far away from doing that kind of thing. But back to what I was saying, Wardlow's big thing is he's against MJF. So he may stay with the Undisputed Kingdom if it means he can get it at MJF. If they will help him get it MJF, if it's easier for him to get it MJF that way. So I don't know, him dropping the title or not, regardless. If he keeps the title, if he doesn't, if it means that he has a better chance of destroying MJF when he returns, he may stay with them. But if they get in the way of him taking down MJF, then we may see Wardlow go his own way, which I think is what he'll need to do anyway. You know, he needs to be the first one to break off of that group, I think. So back to Orange Cassidy for a second. And here, that's an interesting idea for Mind Runner. Trent will cost Cassidy the belt at Revolution and join Undisputed Kingdom.
Yeah, that's what I see happening.
Yeah, really?
Yeah.
That's an interesting idea for sure. I could see that happening for sure. That would be a cool way to go with it. Mm-hmm. And then, like I said, Chuck Taylor will still be. I mean, we still got the best friends. There's still Danhausen, Orange Cassidy, Chris Statlander, and Rocky Romero. Yeah. And who'd I leave out? I left someone out.
We left out Trent Beretta, but
no, I didn't. No. I left someone out.
No, that's everyone.
No. Well, anyways. So I could see that.
Unless you count Sue.
But as I was saying, I could see that sneaking up, and you know, it'll take a lot to beat Will Ospreay. But man, Roderick Strong can go, and we know fucking Orange Cassidy can go. He has revealed himself to be a hell of a wrestler. So I could see Cassidy and Strong maybe pulling off the match of the night at the show. It would be a surprise, but I could see it happening. But match of the night or not, that's going to be a great match. And I'll be shocked if Strong doesn't win the title from Cassidy there. Cassidy's had quite a year in 2023. So far in 2024, he's shown so much improvement in his game. You know, I forget who we gave our most improved wrestler to award for 2023. I forget who we gave it to. I have to go back and watch it.
Yeah, I don't remember.
But he improved a lot.
Was it Kyle Fletcher? Or was he like the rise? Did we do a Rising Star award? Something
I don't know.
Kyle Fletcher.
Anyways, though, Cassidy's certainly risen up in the ranks a lot the last 2 years, and it's somebody to watch. And you know, when he loses the international title, you know, if say Samoa Joe keeps the title, you know, he's somebody to maybe watch as a possible challenger for Samoa Joe. Mm-hmm. You know, in the world title. I mean, it's time for Cassidy to move up, and AEW needs some baby faces at the top. They really do need some baby faces at the top, I think. And Cassidy is ready to move up. He needs to. And if Joe keeps the belt, there's a good opportunity. Or if Swerve wins it, say, and they keep booking him as a heel, you could do Cassidy versus Swerve. You know? I don't know if they're going to book him as a face from now on or what. You know? But you could do Cassidy versus Swerve. Or if Hangman wins it, Hangman certainly looks as though he's turning heel to me. Yeah.
I think it's just because he's facing Swerve. And Swerve, no matter how much they try and make him a heel, he's got face heat, you know?
Well, it looks to me like Hangman's turning heel. My point is, Cassidy could face Hangman. Mm-hmm. He could face any of them, I feel like.
Yeah.
So Cassidy could be on the cusp of maybe battling for the world title. Could be the next challenger.
I feel like he's definitely earned it.
Oh, hell yeah. Yeah, definitely. So maybe Hangman TA? Is that like Magnum TA?
Yeah.
Hopefully it doesn't end up like Magnum TA. Hope not.
What happened to Magnum TA?
Magnum TA was paralyzed in a motorcycle accident.
Oh.
Yeah, he was United States champion, and he was poised to take a step up to the world title. He was really popular in NWA, one of the most popular wrestlers in the NWA, and got paralyzed and never walked again. He's still alive, thankfully, but he never walked again.
That's horrifying.
But he's in good health for being in a wheelchair. He's in good health. But yeah, just was terrible tragedy. Just in the prime of his career, struck down like that, and who knows what could have been. That's probably the worst case of a wrestling one of the worst cases of a wrestling career, just struck down in its prime, and what could have been. I would call it the worst case, honestly, as far as the potential. And
over Owen or Bray Wyatt?
Yeah, just because Magnum TA was younger, and he had more years to go. And Owen, I mean, not it feels weird kind of rating these dead people and whatever, but Bray Wyatt had been Universal Champion. He'd been there. Owen hadn't been world champion, but he'd been in world champion feuds. He deserved to have been world champion, but for whatever reason, Vince never gave him that belt. But he'd been in the world title feuds. But yeah, Magnum TA hadn't been there, but that's definitely where he was headed, Magnum TA. And if you don't know, if you're younger, if you don't know who Magnum TA is and you're watching, look him up on YouTube, Magnum TA.
I only know who
very good wrestler, and it kind of looks like Hangman Adam Page, kind of.
There have been side-by-side comparison pictures on social media
of right?
Hangman and Magnum TA. That's how I knew who he was.
And so, however the match at Revolution comes out between Cassidy and Strong, I think it'll be a great match. I think Strong's definitely winning. Yeah, Kay, you as well, right?
Yeah, definitely.
And I think even with losing, I think Cassidy is in a great spot in his career to really take it to the next level. And he's proven time and time again he can wrestle just about anybody, and he has what it takes to make it to the next level. Yeah. So, and that has been a closer look at Orange Cassidy. So now is a segment called Where's This Going?, where we take a look at some things that happened on AEW television this week, and we ask, where's this going? So first ask, we talked about this a little. After Jon Moxley beat Dax Harwood on Dynamite, we saw Cash Wheeler run in. We saw Claudio Castagnoli run in. We saw a skirmish between the BCC and FTR. Where's this going?
Well, like I said, I thought they already had a match at Revolution.
You thought they already booked a match.
So that's where I think it's going. I think they're going to have a tag match at Revolution.
I would love it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Tag team, man, that would talk about work rate. All four of those guys can go. I don't think they've faced each other. Have we seen that? Moxley and Castagnoli versus FTR? We've not seen that.
No, we haven't. At least as far as I know.
I don't remember it if it happened. And Mind Runner suggests FTR versus BCC double dog collar match.
Oh, that would
awesome. Be sweet. That would be pretty sweet.
I don't know if they're going to want a tag match to show up the Young Bucks Sting last match. Tag match, though.
Yeah, exactly.
And I feel like that would be hard to.
Yeah, you can't have it. Yeah, you can't. I agree. You can't have it on that pay-per-view. You can't have it showing up the Sting match. Yeah. I like the idea, though. It's a great idea, but not on this show.
But it feels like that's where it's going, though, doesn't it? Like it doesn't feel like it's over because they keep having these like.
Oh, he says they have a regular tag this Wednesday. Oh, I don't know what's coming up on Dynamite this Wednesday. Honestly, I haven't looked.
Awesome. That's
to be honest.
Yeah.
I haven't looked. The only match I know is that 6-man with RVD in it. So he says they have a regular tag this Wednesday, but it won't end there. Mm-hmm. So maybe that's where you thought.
Yeah.
They do have a match scheduled. Okay. Well, thank you. I appreciate you cluing us in. So where is it going? They do have a match coming up on Wednesday. Mm-hmm. Where is it going from there? Yeah, none of these guys have a match on for Revolution yet, so very well could be leading to a pay-per-view match, I think. And with we're 13 days from the pay-per-view, they're not fighting anyone else. I'm feeling like these guys are going to be each other's pay-per-view opponents at this point. Yeah.
Yeah. At first, I thought it looked like they were going to do BCC versus CMLL, but then they kind of went away.
Yeah. I wish, I wish.
But if we can't get that, I feel like this is good.
Yeah, the CMLL weren't around this week.
Yeah.
The feud isn't over. The BCC and CMLL feud isn't over. But it's just on pause for right now. I have an announcement about that later in the news. But yeah, that's what I was hoping for too. BCC versus CMLL in some kind of crazy match. Yeah. Maybe with a stipulation at the pay-per-view. That's what I was hoping for. I mean, I really wanted to see this fucking CMLL guys in person. And it's going to kill me because I feel like they're not going to be a Revolution, But there's still time. You say definitely not?
I think definitely not.
There's still time. But I do think we're going to see FTR versus Claudio and Moxley at the pay-per-view. I feel like that's what we're going to see.
I feel like they're going to save CMLL for Forbidden Door.
We'll see. So who wins if they face each other? They face each other Wednesday. Who wins?
Well, John Moxley almost never loses, so I kind of feel like John Moxley and Claudio, but I think FTR should win since they're the real tag team.
Well, Moxley and Castagnoli have been tag teaming here and there lately.
Tag team. They're just in the same faction. They're singles wrestlers who are tagging together, whereas Dax and Cash are an actual tag team unit.
I hear what you're saying.
I don't like it when singles wrestlers as a tag team beat actual tag teams. Well, it depends. That's not true. Not always the case, but generally, I don't care for that. Because then I feel like it makes them look like really bad. Like these two guys who don't even wrestle with each other all the time can beat you. What kind of tag team are you? Who do you think would win?
On Wednesday?
Yeah.
I'm going to say Moxley and Claudio. Yeah. All right, so we talked about it last week. Let's talk about it a little again because now we've seen some movement here. Christian Cage, Daniel Garcia, Adam Copeland, and the TNT title. Okay, we got one question real quick here. Mind Runner asked, how do you both feel about an eventual Dax singles run?
Well, I think if they do it, it's going to be because they don't have a choice. Like depending on what happens with Cash in Florida, I can't see them splitting up FTR outside of that because they're I guess second strongest tag team after the Young Bucks. What do you think?
I tend to agree. I mean, a lot of people, of course, would put them over the Young Bucks.
I just meant in their eyes. I feel like
I know.
Young Bucks.
I don't know where I would rank them personally. Very different teams you're comparing there. It's hard to. It's apples and oranges. FTR and the Young Bucks. But how would I feel about a Dax singles run? I would love it.
He's great.
He's great. Yeah, he's fantastic.
And I'm not a huge John Moxley fan, but I really enjoyed that Dax Moxley match.
Yeah, that's what I was just about to say. That match with he and Moxley, what was that, 2 weeks ago?
That was this week.
Was it?
Yeah, you summarized it.
Oh, earlier. Okay. That match last week with where Moxley beat Dax. Oh, right. I just summarized it. I was just fucking literally talking about it.
Sorry. It's so late. It's 6:46. Of course you can't remember.
Jesus Christ. That match from last week where Moxley beat Dax, that was a great match, man. Mm-hmm. And it's not all because of Moxley. And I'm a big Moxley fan. She is not really. I don't know why not. I don't know. You've seen enough wrestling. You should know how good he is.
All of his matches are the same.
No, they're not.
Ugh.
Anyways, I'm answering. So wait. But Moxley, you know, he's a great wrestler. But that match wasn't all about Moxley. I mean, Dax can go, and I love his style. You know, there aren't a whole lot of wrestlers that really remind me of the 80s NWA style, but Dax really does. And you know, that's what he wants to put out there, you know, and he really does do that, and it's awesome.
It's like he's channeling Arn Anderson.
Yeah, exactly.
Love it.
And as you see, well, you can see it better. You can see it better behind her, actually. We got old Arn right back here. Signed picture of Arn Anderson back there. He's one of my favorites. So yeah, Dax Harwood, I really I like him a lot. So if he goes on a singles run because Cash ends up in jail as he may, I hope he doesn't. But I don't know. The judge may decide he deserves to. I don't know. I don't know what happened, so I don't know. But in any case, if Cash ends up in jail, then yeah, I would love to see a Dax singles run. I think he would be fantastic. Maybe fantastic. I don't think he'd miss Cash one bit. No, I think he'd do just fine for himself. All right, what was I about to talk about? Okay, Adam Copeland, Daniel Garcia, Christian Cage, and the TNT title. Talk about it, Kay.
What about it? Where is it going?
Where is it going? Where's this going?
I don't even fucking know. Like, I feel like I had a good guess, but then Nick Wayne and Luchasaurus making that match a no contest.
Kill switch.
Oh, I'm never gonna call him that. Sorry, he's dressed like a dinosaur. He's Luchasaurus. But I feel like them interfering. How come you didn't correct me with the Prodigy?
Yeah, it's not necessary to call people their nicknames every time.
Anyway, yeah, I really didn't see that coming. I probably should have guessed that someone was going to interfere in that match, but I kind of thought we were going to get a definitive winner.
I didn't see it coming either. I expected a winner. Yeah.
Well, only because the AEW World Heavyweight is a three-way match.
Exactly.
And so I can't imagine them doing the same thing with the other singles belt that's like one of the other singles belts that's going to be on the show. Like it doesn't make sense to me to have two triple threat matches.
Why not? I mean, I'm not big on triple threat matches. I hope they don't.
Yeah.
I'll repeat myself. What I said they should do is have a fresh matchup, do Christian Cage versus Daniel Garcia, and then have Adam Copeland do a Cope Open challenge, and then have fucking Okada show up and answer the Open challenge. And then you got a fresh matchup for the TNT title, and then you got an awesome fucking match between Copeland and Okada. And I think that's just great for all four of those wrestlers and great for the fans. You got two fresh matchups and two great matchups. And I think that's what they should do. Very clearly, that's what they should do, I think.
Would you wait till the day of Revolution? Like during the show, we're waiting to see who answers the challenge and boom, it's Okada? Or would you advertise that ahead of time?
The Open challenge?
Yeah.
Advertised ahead of time. Yeah. We'll set up beforehand, like on this week's Dynamite or something like that. Set it up where Garcia earns the title shot, and or somehow, some way, Christian gets to pick maybe, and then to weasel out of facing Copeland. That would even be better. Maybe Christian somehow ends up getting to choose. And he chooses Garcia to weasel out of facing Copeland. And Copeland then, of course, says, well, I want to be at Revolution, so we're going to take the Open challenge to Revolution. So whoever wants to face me, I'll see you at the show. And then you advertise it ahead of time. And then you got the big, who's it going to be? Who's it going to be? And then it's fucking Okada. And that would be fucking awesome. I think. I think that would be killer. personally. And yeah, we know, as Mind Runner says, we need some surprises at Revolution. We know we're not seeing Mercedes Moné. Well, we don't know that. We assume she's debuting at the March 13th show. We assume she's not going to be at Revolution. So it would be nice to see Okada debut at Revolution.
I think she could debut at Revolution and then have her first match in Boston.
Possibly, but I don't think that's what's happening.
I don't think that's what's happening.
I don't think that's what's happening. So wait, did we get an answer out of you?
No.
No.
I was hoping you would ignore that fact.
No.
I don't know. I'm at a loss. If I got to choose, I would prefer to see Copeland and Christian, because I think when Christian finally drops the belt, it's going to be to Copeland, and I would like to see the title change hands. But Tony Khan said 2024 is the year of Daniel Garcia, so maybe he has a chance of getting it off Christian too. But then I feel like you're missing that big opportunity for the satisfying conclusion to the Copeland-Christian feud if you take the belt off him and give it to Garcia. Yeah,
no, I hear you. I agree.
So I don't know where this is going, but I would like it to be Copeland and Christian at Revolution, because I want to see the belt change hands. And I want to be able to boo Christian loudly.
I agree. But yeah, they had the match of the night at what show was that?
That was World's End.
Was that their last pay-per-view?
Yeah.
In December?
Yes.
Damn.
Yes.
And they didn't really December.
December, yes.
Wow.
AEW
end of December, end of December, and they hadn't had a pay-per-view. Wow. I guess I just hadn't realized they didn't do a show in January or February.
That was like the best part, and like.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
Satisfying.
Yeah, that show wasn't so hot, but that match was hot.
Mm-hmm.
That Christian and Copeland match was great.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see what else we got here. So yeah, TNT title picture is pretty packed right now with those guys. So they've got something cool going. I like my idea better, but Kay is right. They do it her way. That's fine too. Either way, either thing works.
You said earlier you were going to talk more about Darby's promo.
No, I'm going to talk about that later.
Oh, okay.
Talk about that later. Let's see. All right, I guess I'll go one more. Where is this going? The triple threat now we have for the world title, we have Joe, we have Hangman, we have Swerve. Joe's a heel. Hangman, I don't know, was a face and now apparently is a heel. Swerve is supposed to be a heel, but now he gets treated like a face by everyone. So the lines are kind of blurred with the challengers, at least. Where's this going? Who's coming out of Revolution as the champ, and are they going to be a face or a heel?
Well, before I answer your question, one thing I find really interesting about this is like all three of those men are just beloved by the AEW crowd. Like, the only reason Hangman Page is getting booed is because he's facing Swerve Strickland. But even then, you still get the cowboy shit chants,
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like that's not super common, where you have the fans going for all three guys that are in the match. Like, normally there's at least one that the fans detest, and that's not the case. So it'll be really interesting to see how the crowd kind of reacts and operates at Revolution.
Yeah.
I'm assuming they're all going to be for Swerve in that match. But people love Joe, you know?
People love Joe.
And
And now it is
champion.
North Carolina. And now Hangman lives in North Carolina, and he's from Virginia.
He lives in North Carolina?
He lives in North Carolina, and he's from Virginia.
Where does he live in North Carolina?
I don't know, but he lives in North Carolina.
Interesting.
And he's from Virginia, so I believe he lives in North Carolina. I'm pretty sure I heard that. And he's from Aaron's Creek, Virginia. Yeah. So, you know, I don't know.
People love Swerve.
You think Swerve is going to be the crowd favorite?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Don't you?
I do, but we'll see. I do, but we'll see. I think so, probably, yeah. Yeah. And, yeah, I think because especially a lot of people there, you know, want to see the belt change hands. You know, everybody wants to be there for a world title switch, you know.
Yeah.
That's always fun to be able to say I was there for that, you know.
What's the pay-per-view after this one?
Don't remember. I can never remember their titles. They have, you know, honestly, they have such generic names. I love AEW, but their pay-per-views have such generic names. I can't remember which one is which, you know. World's End, I can remember that as December. But past that, I don't know. I know Revolution is in March. And then Double or Nothing. Yeah. Thank you, Mind Runner. We should hire him. Double or Nothing is next.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking was next, but thank you. I appreciate that.
I try and remember the All Elite crates in the order in which you received them.
Right, yeah. But what I was saying, their shows have such generic names. I can't like, you know, WWE. It's like implanted in my mind. It's like January, Royal Rumble, March, April, WrestleMania, June, King of the Ring, August, SummerSlam, November, Survivor Series. That's the way it was when I was a kid, at least. You know, King of the Ring. They don't even do that anymore. What the fuck were we talking about?
We're talking about Samoa
World title match. Yeah, world title match. So did you pick who's winning?
I did not.
Okay. So who's winning, and are they a face or a heel when they coming out of the match?
I don't want it to be true, so I'm like afraid to say it to like put it out into the universe.
Yeah.
But I kind of think Samoa Joe is going to retain.
Yeah. I'm kind of feeling the same thing.
But I really want Swerve to win. But I feel like he and Hangman are going to like do each other dirty and cost each other the belt.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm for Swerve for sure, but I definitely am feeling like Samoa Joe is retaining. I don't see...
I see. Joe.
I don't know. No. I can see it two ways. Now, I don't. In one way, I don't see Tony Khan booking Samoa Joe to lose the belt after having only one defense. He had one defense against Hook, and now this is defense number 2.
Mm-hmm.
So, in one way, I can't see him booking Samoa Joe to lose the belt in his second defense.
Mm-hmm.
In another way, maybe there's some reason why Tony Khan has used Joe so sparingly. Maybe he is taking the belt off of him. I don't know. Because generally we see more AEW world title matches than this. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Usually we don't have to wait 10 weeks to see 2 world title matches, do we?
We used to. Because before Adam Cole started encouraging MJF to actually wrestle, remember that was like his whole shtick was that like he wouldn't wrestle basically.
Yeah.
And so we would only see title matches at pay-per-views when he's first got the belt, and that's what we're getting now. But I see Hangman taking the pin, and then Swerve using the fact that he didn't get pinned by Samoa Joe to be a reason to go back after the world title.
That sounds. So you see Hangman getting pinned.
Yeah.
And I feel kind of the same way. And I think here Mind Runner, who's been talking to us a lot on this show tonight, feels kind of the same way. He says Samoa Joe retains. Swerve needs to win clean in a one-on-one match. So I don't know if he needs to win clean in a one-on-one match. Pardon me. I don't know if he needs to win it clean in a one-on-one match. I don't think that matters in this day and age. But I just feel like this triple threat's not happening. Mm-hmm. I feel like we're not going to see a title change. In my gut. Now, I don't think it's 100%. I feel like it's like 70-30. 70% Joe, 30% Hangman. Or excuse me, 30% Swerve.
0% Hangman.
0% Hangman, yeah. Call it maybe like 25% Swerve, 5% Hangman. I'll say that.
I would go with the 0%.
But yeah, so I see, and so Joe is still going to be a heel, obviously, coming out of it. Yeah. So what do you think coming out of this show, Swerve and Hangman? What are they going to be, faces or heels coming out of this show?
I think if they continue to feud, Swerve is going to continue to be the face and Hangman's going to continue to be the heel in that relationship.
Yeah.
But I don't think Swerve is going to actually be a face. Like, I think he's going to stay in a heel faction as the head of that heel faction. Mm-hmm. People are just treating him like a face.
Your Mind Runner says they have been padding Moxley's stats lately since the rankings came back. Moxley versus Joe at Double or Nothing? ? Maybe. I could see it. Tony Khan loves to keep Moxley up at the top, and I tell you, based on Moxley's work in the ring, it's hard to deny him deserving to be there. He's one of the best that they have. So I could see it, but I don't see it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I just don't see Moxley. I think they've got other stuff going for him. So I don't see Moxley jumping into the world title scene right now. Mm-hmm. I feel like we might see, Joe versus Swerve at Double or Nothing, I feel like that's what we'll get, and Swerve might win there. That's what I'm thinking right now. So you never know. You never know. I could see Moxley as a contender. I mean, for sure. He's definitely a contender. And would be, we'll see in our rankings tonight where we have him. But he's definitely a contender. So I could see him in the match, but I don't think he will be in the Double or Nothing match for the world title. No. All right, and coming up next, we have it's the top five. The top 5, AEW top 5. Each week, we strive to bring you the top 5 men, the top 5 women, and the top 5 teams in AEW. We have a proprietary formula that has never been broken, can never be discovered, will never be revealed, and we will take it to our watery graves. It's okay.
Yes.
What should we do first? Men, women, or teams?
Let's do men first, since we were just talking about them.
All right. Makes sense. Top 5 men. Number 5, back in the rankings, Jon Moxley. So as you said, yeah. As we were just talking about. Number 4, same spot as last week. AEW International Champion Orange Cassidy, coming off of that big main event win over Matt Taven on Dynamite in the Texas Death Match. Number 3, same spot as last week. Hangman Adam Page. Number 2, same spot as last week. Swerve Strickland. Number 1, same spot as last week, Samoa Joe, the AEW World Champion. We've never had it before. We usually have a lot of movement. We've never had it before where the top 4 stay the same.
Yeah, that's
crazy. Never. So that's a first. So there you got number 1, Samoa Joe. Number 2, Swerve Strickland. Number 3, Hangman Adam Page. Number 4, Orange Cassidy. Number 5, Jon Moxley. So what's next, women or teams? Women. Number 5, back in the rankings, Sky Blue. Number 4, dropping 1 spot from number 3 last week, Queen Aminata. She picked up a win. It was on Rampage though. She beat who did she beat? She beat somebody on Rampage.
I don't remember.
Number 3, back in the top 5, Willow Nightingale. Got the win over who?
Over Sky Blue.
Over Sky Blue.
Oh, she faced Anna Jay.
Right, Queen Aminata beat Anna Jay. Right, correct, on Rampage. And Willow Nightingale beat Sky Blue on Dynamite. Yeah. Number 2, the number 1 contender for the World Women's title, same spot as last week, Deonna Purrazzo. And number 1, same spot as last week, the AEW World Women's Champion, Toni Storm. So you've got number 1, Toni Storm. Number 2, Deonna Purrazzo. Number 3, Willow Nightingale. Number 4, Queen Aminata. And number 5, Sky Blue. And as Mind Runner pointed out, Queen Aminata beat Anna Jay and got the graphic. Yes, she did. And I have something to say about that in the news as well. And in the top 5 teams, and by the graphic he means the Queen Aminata is all elite, that graphic. Top 5 teams. Number 5, dropping 3 spaces from number 2 last week, Jon Moxley and Claudio Castagnoli, the tag team. Number 4, back in the rankings, Top Flight, who had a good showing, but lost to the Young Bucks on Dynamite. Number 3, rising up a spot from number 4 last week, the AEW World Trios Champions, the Acclaimed, and Daddy Ass. Number 2, number 1 contenders to the World Tag Team titles, the Young Bucks. And number 1, same spot as last week, the AEW World Tag Team Champions, the undefeated team of Sting and Darby Allin. So that's number 1, Sting and Darby Allin. Number 2, the Young Bucks. Number 3, the Acclaimed and Daddy Ass. Number 4, Top Flight. And number 5, Jon Moxley and Claudio Castagnoli. And those are your AEW Top 5 rankings for February 19th, 2024. And right now we have Kay Fabulous with Wrestling Fashion Do's and Don'ts.
We will have a short do's and don'ts list this week because we didn't see any Collision wrestlers for me to critique their outfits.
That's okay. Don't.
If you're an AEW backstage interviewer, don't wear high-waisted white satin shorts that look like old-timey underwear like Renee Paquette.
Don't.
If you're a jobber no one has ever heard of, don't wear half of a winter hat while you wrestle like Barrett Brown.
Don't.
If you're trying to look impressive and intimidating at the same time, don't wear a shirt that looks like a hot pink shower loofah like Deonna Purrazzo.
Do.
If you are going after the TNT title, do look like you traveled in time to 1996 to have your new t-shirt made like Daniel Garcia. And that is this week's Fashion Do's and Don'ts.
Thank you, Kay. We appreciate it.
Yeah.
Always letting us know what's hot, what's not. All right, and this is the AEW News Roundup, and I have a little bit more news than usual this week. The Friday, February 9th. Oh, wait, I didn't do the news thing.
I'm so glad you remember.
AEW News Roundup. The Friday, February 9th episode of AEW Rampage averaged 456,000 viewers on TNT, and that is up 45.2% from the previous week. It's the best rating for Rampage since April 14th of last year, when the show had an NBA playoff game as a lead-in. Rampage drew a 0.14 rating in the 18 through 49 demo. That's up 40% from the previous week, and matches Rampage's highest rating in that category since August 2023. A pretty good week for Rampage. Rocky Romero is now working in AEW's front office. Romero also works for New Japan behind the scenes and helped bring CMLL and AEW together for their working relationship that began last October. Romero is also the current MLW middleweight champion and is set to defend the title against Mystico at MLW Intimidation Games in New York City on February 29th. Romero held the NWA World Historic Welterweight Championship in CMLL from January through December of last year.
I have a question.
Yes.
What does that mean, working in the front office? That makes him sound like he's going to be like the receptionist for AEW.
No, it just means he's working with Tony Khan and that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's all.
So, like, the front office is the, like, the office.
Yeah, he's not in a cubicle or anything.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just go, hello.
No.
AEW, how may I help you?
No.
Okay.
Tony Khan spoke with Fansided and was asked about the recent allegations against former WWE Executive Chairman Vince McMahon. Khan said, "I can't comment on the terrible allegations against WWE right now. I think that's something people are paying a lot of attention to right now with good reason." Khan then described what AEW does to create a safe workplace, saying, quote, "For us, first and foremost is trying to create a safe locker room environment for everybody, women and men. I think everybody knows there's a support system there. There are a lot of channels." Khan continued, "There are people you can talk to. For us, I think that's the most important thing. In any office of any workplace, it's just having a lot of people that will listen and want to make the company a good, safe place to work."
He handled that question so much better than Triple H did.
Yes.
My God.
Yeah, I would say so. So. Yeah. Last Saturday's episode of AEW Collision averaged 491,000 viewers on TNT, up 21.5% from the previous week. It's the best rating for Collision since October 21st. The show drew a 0.15 rating in the 18 through 49 demo. That's up 25% from the previous week. So ratings up all over the board for AEW this week. QT Marshall returned to the executive role he previously held with AEW. He will not be an in-ring talent. Marshall is free to wrestle for other promotions except WWE. Marshall hasn't wrestled much since dropping the AAA Latin American title to Octagon Jr. at Guerra de Titanes 2023 on November 19th. Marshall also recently teamed with Dusty Rhodes' daughter, Teal Rhodes, to revive her father's old promotion, Turnbuckle Championship Wrestling. TCW held its first event on February 8th. The show featured Glacier, Scotty Riggs, The Infantry, Aaron Solo, and Marshall himself. The Blackpool Combat Club are heading to Mexico for CMLL's Homenaje a Dos Leonadas event on March 29th. They'll face the team of Mystico, Volador Jr., Blue Panther, and Ultimo Guerrero. Also on the card, Willow Nightingale, Tessa Blanchard, and La Catalina face Stephanie Vaquer, Zuexis, and Uvia. Tony Khan announced a new set for AEW Dynamite will debut on March 6th in Duluth, Georgia. That's the first Dynamite after the Revolution pay-per-view. A new set. That's pretty cool.
Didn't they just get new stuff?
Feels like it, yeah. I figure we'll see more implementation like the LED boards like we've seen around the ring. I'm curious to see.
Yeah.
You know, they did have all the like the powder and they went more colorful and then they went to like just the red and blue kind of deal, you know.
So you think it means the graphics are changing, not the actual physical set?
No, the physical set is changing.
Oh.
I'm getting a new set for Dynamite.
I want them to have one of those light up walkways. Like the ramp. You know how in WWE the ramp is a video screen?
Yeah.
I want that.
Yeah. I think they that would look good for them.
Yeah. I'm not trying to get
well,
AEW
but the
to
arenas
look like WWE,
but the arenas that they book, well, they could still do it. They could do it. Yeah.
Because they're different sizes.
I don't want AEW to look like WWE.
I don't either, but I do like the walkway. Because I feel like there's so much you can do with it for like individual wrestlers to make their entrances more unique. And like AEW kind of needs a little help with entrances, as we've discussed previously. Yeah,
I tell you the one thing though I do, talking about entrances, I tell you what I like though, is that AEW doesn't have all this fucking, it's not a goddamn fucking dance routine like a WWE entrance is. You know?
20 minutes later, the wrestler makes it to the ring.
Jesus Christ, the WWE entrances are out of control, man. I mean, we don't watch anymore, but I mean, I watched recently, so I can speak to WWE, and it's just out of control. I mean, they come over here and pose, and then they come over this way, and they lift their eyebrow and move this arm up, and then they walk down the ramp, and they've got motions they do, and they get in the ring, and they've got stuff that they do, and it's just fucking ridiculous. You know? It's so overwrought and overdone. Unnecessary, you know? I mean, I know that they're trying to get their character across, and they do. But like I said, it's overdone.
Well, I think, too, they're trying to have as few minutes of wrestling as possible
right.
on the wrestling show.
Yeah. It's overdone, overwrought, unnecessary. Takes away from the wrestling.
Yeah.
Like, you know, you can do something during your entrance, yeah, but it doesn't need to be all that. Come over here and pose. Come over there and pose. Pose here. Pose in the ring. Do that shit. Not
just in the ring, but in all four sides of the ring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absurd. Where was I? Jeff Hardy suffered a broken nose in a match with Sammy Guevara on AEW Rampage when Guevara's left leg hit Hardy's nose as Guevara landed a shooting star press. Hardy's nose bled profusely, and he appeared dazed after the match, but he did not suffer a concussion. He appeared upset with Guevara, but it's not clear if this was kayfabe or not. Dustin Rhodes teamed with Ross and Marshall Von Erich on the February 16th episode of AEW Rampage. This was an honor for Dustin Rhodes, as he noted on X. Dustin noted that his father, Dusty Rhodes, and Kevin Von Erich only teamed together once during their careers. Rhodes thanked Tony Khan for booking the match. He and the Von Erichs were victorious over Hit, Romero Cruz, and Shimbashi on Rampage. The February 14th episode of AEW Dynamite averaged 811,000 viewers on TBS. That is up 0.8% from last week. Dynamite drew a 0.30 rating in the 18 through 49 demo. That's up 7.1% from last week.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, like I said, AEW, all three shows were up this week. And the other two shows were up significantly. Rob Van Dam announced for AEW Collision on April 20th. On a holiday for marijuana lovers, Rob Van Dam returns to Collision. Van Dam makes his next appearance for AEW on this Wednesday's Dynamite in Tulsa, Oklahoma, as he teams with Hook and Hangman Adam Page against AEW World Champion Samoa Joe, Swerve Strickland, and Brian Cage. RVD made his AEW debut last August against Jack Perry and has wrestled 3 times since. He's aligned with Hook because of the ECW connection with Hook's father, Taz. Mike Santana revealed that he's reached 1 year of sobriety. 1 year ago, he checked himself into rehab. Santana said over those 30 days, he learned to, quote, finally let go of the pain and trauma he'd carried so long. Santana suffered a torn ACL in June 2022. Upon returning in August 2023, Santana feuded with his former tag team partner, Ortiz. Santana defeated Ortiz in a no DQ match on Rampage last October. He's not been booked in AEW since. Santana is the current House of Glory champion. That's an independent federation up in New York State. AEW announced the signing of Queen Aminata on X during Friday's episode of Rampage. Aminata signed with the company back in January, according to Fightful. Queen Aminata is currently competing in AEW and is competing in the Ring of Honor Women's World TV Title Tournament, where she has advanced to the second round. AAA Mega Champion El Hijo del Vikingo, and my favorite wrestler, may have been injured this week. Vikingo's match at Arena Lopez Mateos on Saturday was stopped early after he came down awkwardly on his right knee. Dave Meltzer reports, quote, "I just got the word of a meniscus injury that he might need surgery." Meltzer also said Vikingo, quote, "could be out for a pretty long length of time." Vikingo had been appearing in AEW and Ring of Honor recently. For AEW, Vikingo wrestled in a four-way match won by Trent Beretta on January 3rd Dynamite, and another four-way won by Commander on the January 24th Rampage taping. On AEW Dynamite last week, Darby Allin cut a promo directed at the Young Bucks that implied it was Cody Rhodes who brought him into the company. When asked by Digital Spy why he included Rhodes in his promo, Allin said, quote, "My biggest problem is when people try to ignore the history of things as if something never happened. I'm like, we're not stupid. Come on." Allin continued, "I have a lot of things I wanted to say to the Young Bucks, and I said it, and so be it. I just want to go out there and speak my mind on things."
That's the funniest quotes. Say it again.
No.
Come on.
Brian Alvarez reported many within AEW were unhappy that the promo essentially caused the AEW fans to chant for WWE's number one babyface. The promo also completely ignored the fact that the Young Bucks were wearing clothes with Sting's and Allen's blood on them, ignored the beating Allen and Sting took from the Young Bucks, and ignored the beating the Young Bucks gave to Sting's sons. Many saw the promo as a huge swing and a miss. And I would have to agree with that as well. The point of the storyline the week before, when they won the belts, was all those things I just said, was for the Young Bucks. They smeared Sting and Darby's blood on their clothing and kept wearing it. And Darby doesn't fucking mention this.
Yeah.
And they beat up Sting's sons with baseball bats. Not a word about that. And not a word about himself and Sting getting beat up with baseball bats either.
That was a weird promo.
But he was talking about the Young Bucks and how he wasn't in the California crowd and how Cody Rhodes brought him in. It's like, this is not what we're talking about, Darby.
Mm-hmm.
This is not what this is fucking about. This isn't about you.
It seemed like a therapy session where he was just getting off his chest what he needed to.
Yeah.
And it had nothing to do with what was going on at the time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. This is not about you, Darby. This is about Sting, man. Mm. What are you doing? And this has been AEW Weekly. So we want to thank you very much for watching. I said it'd be a shorter show than normal, and it wasn't. We ended up running our mouths for the regular amount of time. So, but thank you very much for watching. We have another show that we do on Sundays. It's called the Retro Wrestling Watch Along. I'm not sure if we're doing it this Sunday, honestly. We may be going to an independent wrestling show. Normally, it happens Sunday at 12:45. You can watch on our X account. I will say on there whether it's happening or not this Sunday. So just watch for an announcement, and you can look in our header. It'll tell you if it's happening or not as well. It'll say if it's happening and what we'll be watching. But it's a watch along show, and just we watch old wrestling and talk about it and talk about other things as well. And it's a fun time for a Sunday afternoon.
And this month we've been featuring shows that have great Sting matches in honor of Sting's retirement. So if we do it on Sunday, there'll be another match or another card with a great Sting match on it.
Yep. But if we don't do it Sunday, it's been a great month of Sting shows. Yeah, we watched an episode of Nitro. We saw some Surfer Sting. We saw some Crow Sting. We saw some 1992 WCW pay-per-views. We saw, what else did we see? Yeah, I remember the other pay-per-views we watched.
Blast at the Beach?
No, that was 92.
Oh, I thought you were...
Beach Blast.
Beach Blast. Wrestle War.
Wrestle War was 92. And then we watched an episode of Nitro. We watched something else, didn't we? And there one more?
Wasn't there... No.
There was one more.
Not NWA. Was he in NWA?
Yeah, we watched Clash of the Champions 1. Yeah. Okay. NWA Clash of the Champions 1 as well. Saw some good Sting stuff this month. But yeah, so like I said, we may not be doing it this month, but this week, but we will be back. We won't be doing it on March the 3rd either. That's the Sunday, right?
Correct.
We won't be doing it on March 3rd either. The show will be back March 10th. If we're not on this weekend, we'll be back March 10th. I don't know what the theme will be, but there will be some kind of theme, I believe. Or maybe we'll just watch some random old wrestling show. I don't know. We'll see.
I like having a theme.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, we'll see. We will see. So also this week we will be on a watch along of AEW Dynamite on Wednesday night at 8. You can catch it right here on YouTube. You can catch it on X, on Twitch. We'll be on a watch along of AEW Rampage on Friday. What?
It's the TNA pay-per-view Friday.
Oh, I'm sorry. You can catch us on a watch along of the TNA pay-per-view on Friday. I forget what it's called, but we're doing a watch along of it. We're doing that Friday night. And Saturday night, you can catch us on a watch along of AEW Collision. So busy week for us. You can see us Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday night here with watch alongs. And we'll be doing those with our friends over at Last Week in Wrestling and Dylan over at Last Week in Wrestling. So otherwise, we'll see you next week. Every Monday, 6 p.m., we are live with AEW Weekly. And if you want to listen to it as a podcast, the podcast version will be the audio podcast version will be out
probably tomorrow afternoon.
Yeah, it generally comes out Tuesday afternoons. And it'll be, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, all those places you can get it.
And to make sure you don't miss any episodes of our show, make sure to subscribe either to the podcast or on YouTube and turn on your notifications so that way when we do watch alongs, you're able to join us.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Because we do things from time to time. We're gonna start doing some other videos as well. Things besides our weekly shows and watch alongs. We're gonna start having some other videos come up as well. So watch for those as well. Some new content coming up very soon. And you need to subscribe so you don't miss it. So please share the show if you enjoyed it. Share the show with your grandma, with your aunt, with your uncle, with anybody who likes AEW. Please share the show. We would appreciate new viewers, new listeners, however they want to enjoy the show. And as Mick Foley would say, have a nice day. Bye, everybody.
Bye.